Hey guys, it's Wednesday afternoon. I'm a little behind on my vlogs. Sunday we didn't get back till really late to the hotel, and so that kind of screwed things up. And then from there, Monday we had stuff going on and didn't get back till late, and then Tuesday we flew back. So I didn't get a chance to do all the vlogging that I wanted to do, and mostly it was because of the trip. We just had, a lot of stuff going on. We were going to do a lot of things, and I just couldn't find the time. And most of the time, places we were at were so noisy I couldn't have filmed anyway. As it is, most of the footage that I got while I was there, we'll have to have a music bed over the top of it because people were screaming, kids were screaming. We had to deal with this jackass at St. Patrick's Day Parade screaming about religion into his megaphone. He really acted like he was on something, and he was like trying to provoke the police, and police told us, well, he has a First Amendment rights to do that. And I wanted to say, yeah, you should designate them areas to do that, not just walking through the parade and screaming in people's ears. I have a right to not have my space violated. And luckily he didn't get anywhere close to us, or I would have probably got in trouble for punching him in his face, because he would have seriously pissed me off. But anyway, I got tons of footage of the St. Patrick's Day Parade, so most of that I'll have to find some music over the top of it. Then I know I recorded a bunch of stuff at Alcatraz. I think you guys will like that. That's going to be a video all on its own. And it's actually, Alcatraz was probably the coolest thing we did while we were there. And we did a lot of cool stuff. We went on the Golden Gate Bridge, and they have two major columns that hold the wires up. We didn't even make it to the first one. My vertigo kicked in because there's so much movement on that bridge, and not just because of wind. It was a little windy. It was the amount of cars, because we were there during rush hour, and the sheer amount of cars was making that thing move so bad that I started having a panic attack, just because basically my equilibrium was completely thrown off. I didn't know what was up, what was down. I couldn't look out. I was just having to look down at a solid surface, but I could feel it moving, and that's what really was messing with my head. So, sorry, I'm getting some Sonic. I haven't had it in a week.
Hi, how are you today?
Hi.
A double cheeseburger, no pickles, and a sweet tea for
Yep.
28.
All right, thank you. And if you ever go visit California, they don't know how to make tea worth a crap. It's not even worth drinking. So first thing we did when we got in last night, which yesterday's flight didn't go very good either. I freaked out pretty bad on that flight also, and I had to be extra medicated. And I think it's just a buildup of the bridge, and I was already freaked out. And that was we did the bridge Monday. And I really wanted to go across the whole bridge because that's what my wife wanted to do. It's something she's always wanted to do. And I really wanted to make it all the way across, and I just couldn't. At first I was getting when we were going on it, I was freaking myself out. And I was getting mad that I was doing it, but I was doing it. And then we got to a certain point, and I said, well, maybe we can make it to that first big thing. And the sidewalk was really wide, and then it shortened again. And she was like, you have to get closer to the outside because the other side people are coming towards us. And I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I can't. I cannot do it. Even on the way back, she asked if she could stop and take some pictures, and I said yes. And I was holding on to the rail that faced the road, and there were so many cars, and it was shaking so bad. When she was holding on to me, the shaking subsided so much, and I don't know if maybe it was just keeping my attention elsewhere or what, but I didn't really feel any of the shaking or anything else. Where the hell am I going? But I kind of like, I was better when she was doing that, when she was, you know, had her arm, you know, in mine, and I felt a little better, and it wasn't so bad. And then she stopped to take pictures, and I was holding on to that rail, and I was screaming for her to hurry up, because I was like literally like having a super huge panic attack. And part of it is I do have a fear of heights. Most of it's the vertigo. I mean, in all reality, if that sidewalk had been really wide and that bridge was still, I probably would have walked out there with no problem. It would have been high and it would have freaked me out. But I've been on other high structures before. I just don't go to the edge. And the side that's next to the cars, there's just a little bitty gap, so you can see a little bit through there, but it's nothing major. You know, I could have looked out the other side or whatever. Even coming back down, I was looking out towards the west to that coastline, and I was enjoying myself, but it was just a matter of that bridge was shaking so bad I just could not take it. And I've driven across the damn thing many times, 4 times. So I don't know. It just didn't go well for me. And I think that just kind of started that downward spiral. And then yesterday, San Francisco was getting some weather, and there was some weather that had already passed through, but hadn't rained or anything in San Francisco, that we flew through. And then even that morning, Tuesday morning, like a tsunami siren went off, and it was going off throughout the city, and there was, it could have been earthquake or tsunami warning. I think it was just a test of their warning system, but I couldn't tell what the voice was saying, and it was echoing all through town, which means they were doing this all through San Francisco, and I never did figure out what it was. You know, and then we had problems with our hotel while we were there, and other guests screaming and yelling and having parties, and you know, we're in a 4-star. You go into a 4-star and you act like a decent person. You want to have a party, you go find a motel somewhere that doesn't care. Not a 4-star. And then the manager is going to make it up to us and probably give us another stay. And then she bought us lunch at their restaurant, where she told them, make sure whatever they need, you give them, and you cook their food how they want it. Ordered my steak twice, they never did get it right, and I just went ahead and ate it. For some reason, they don't know how to cook medium rare, have no clue. So I should have just ordered the damn thing rare, and then it would have probably been correct. But the first time it was well done, the second time it was medium well. So I'm sure if I would have kept ordering it, he would have finally figured out how to cook the damn thing. Who knows? But anyway, yesterday just kind of amped me up, and then getting on the plane, I just wasn't feeling good, and it just kind of all fell apart yesterday. So then when we got into Austin, we ended up coming in further south and then coming back around. Well, we came in south of Austin and then came back and landed, which was fine, and it actually avoided whatever storms were going on, even though we went through a little bit of it and it was a little rough. But outside of Austin, it's always a little rough, even if it's not raining. For some reason, it's a little rough. And the nice thing is we took JetBlue, and I didn't know much about them. We were actually beyond on time both flights. They were actually, I think the first time we were 45 minutes early, and this second time, or coming back last night, we were like 35 minutes early. So that worked out perfect. I would fly them again in a second. So I'm just driving around for a little bit. So I haven't driven in 5 days. Not that I need practice. I just wanted to film this and get out of the house for a little bit. And I didn't go to work today. I felt like total crap. I still have to go to the chiropractor today. doctor's office. There's no way to get an appointment, and basically had what I felt was a migraine this morning, and my throat was sore, my nose was stopped up, and now I'm like, I feel fine. You know, my nose is probably a little stopped up, but I can breathe through it, so I definitely felt better than I did this morning, and it may have just been all that stress coming down on me. So and really I should have taken this day off anyway, scheduled, because I should have known us coming in as late as we did. We didn't even get back to our car until after 11, and we got in like right around 10 o'clock. So it just took a while. It took us all the way to one end to Austin's airport, and had to walk all the way back to the middle, and then down, and then back over to the baggage claim, and then out and up to go catch the right shuttle. And then I had to wait for the shuttle to drop people off, but it was all right. The cable car, we finally got to go on a cable car Monday night. That thing is so packed, it's nearly impossible to get on. And we just got lucky. We were going to ride one that goes, both of them went back to our hotel within a block. And one of them we went to ride, and something happened to it, and they were towing the cars off. I don't know what happened. So we ended up having to walk all the way back to the other one, which is about 8 or 9 blocks. And so we went ahead and did. And you know, I was thinking, we were heading over there. We'd eaten at Pier 39 at a really good restaurant. Oh my god, their food was so good. Service was their food was insanely good. I had this broiled salmon, and it had this sweet chili sauce on it. Oh my god, it was so good. My wife had braised short rib. Oh, it was just incredible, and it wasn't really that expensive. But when we were leaving, we got a couple more souvenirs for people, and we had passed by this donut place, and it was there 8 years ago when I was there, and it's just these little miniature donuts. And she's like, do you want to get some? I was like, well, let's get a bucket of them, and we'll just eat them on the way back, and then we don't have to stop and go eat anywhere. Once we get back to the hotel, we should be full. And so that's pretty much what we did. We had thought about just getting on, and then when we got close, just jumping off and grabbing something quick, but the donuts pretty much filled us up, and they're really good. But anyway, we got on the cable car, and they piled a bunch of people on, so it was full going back. And it was funny because the driver, when we would top the big hills and it started going downhill, he'd let it go for just a little bit, probably no more than 25-30 feet, you know, without pulling on the brake, because they constantly have to have the brakes on to slow the thing down, or it would just go crazy and come up off the cable and snap the cable. But they can let it go for a little bit, and it was actually really fun. It was a little scary, but it was fun, and the guys were hilarious. And the one guy that dealt with the brakes up front had forgot his gloves at their office. Well, it just happens to be we have to go right by there. I think all the routes maybe just go right by there. If I remember right, they all go by that museum, and that's where their offices are. So he basically stops the cable car in the middle of the street and leaves the other guy, his partner, in there in the cable car, and he comes up and was talking to us and telling us about the museum and all that, and he ran in to go change out his gloves, and cars were getting pissed, and they were having to direct people around him. It was hilarious because he just like parked it and left. It was so fun. But they were cracking us up. They were this lady had, I guess something had happened. He had let it free fall a little bit, and she grabbed it. When she did, she hit him in the leg, And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry that I hit you. And she goes, are you okay? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I'm fine. And she goes, I'm so sorry and I'm so embarrassed. And he goes, oh, it's all right. He goes, I enjoyed it, you know, just playing around with her, and everybody laughed, and they were cutting up and having a good time. So we got to do that. The only things we didn't get to do is Quake Tower, which I'm not sure. I really wanted to go up in it, but I know it's really tall, and it's like, I guess one of the tallest points other than maybe one of the skyscrapers, but you can see everything from there. We didn't go there. We didn't get to go to the cable car museum because I didn't really know about it. There was maybe one or two other things that we didn't really get to go do. The DeYoung Museum, and then there was another bay cruise we didn't get to go to. Alcatraz cruise went great, other than my vertigo again kicked in when we first got in there, and we were hitting some really choppy water, like even at the dock. And so I was feeling a little nauseous, but I was fine once we got over to Alcatraz, and I videoed the view from outside of Alcatraz and the view of San Francisco. I don't think there's a better view anywhere of that town than right there on the rock. It was amazing. And the reason we went out there, part of the story, they talk about how when the wind was blowing from the south and there was parties out on the docks and the yacht clubs, they could actually hear people laughing and singing, and they could smell the food inside of Alcatraz, the prisoners could, which is absolutely crazy. So, but we got to see a lot. There's a lot that they're still renovating. There's some stuff that I wish they had, but the Indian occupation back in the late 60s, early 70s, they burnt two of the main buildings down. Why, I don't know. They said it was an accidental fire, but you never know. But they're restoring some of their graffiti they had put up, which I think is a good idea, to show all of the history of the place. But it's amazing to see how it started and how it is now, and what they're doing to preserve it. And some things they have to take out. You know, they have to cut out some concrete that's brittle and broken and replace it. And so they don't have any way to move that stuff off other than to dump it, and they're not allowed to dump it in the bay anymore because so much of it has been dumped already. And the only thing they can dump in the bay is like the clean fill dirt, which has to be shipped to the island because there's no dirt on the island, it's a rock. But anyway, some of the concrete that they've had to bust up and replace, they take pieces and they package them and put this little certificate thing with them, and so I ended up getting one. They weren't very expensive, and it doesn't really cost them anything, and they package it all there on site, and the plastic case thing that they put it in, flexible plastic case, probably cost them 10 cents, and they charge $10 for the thing, but all that money goes back to helping to restore Alcatraz. So I was all for it. I thought it was really cool. But anyway, you guys will see more footage. I have to get it all together. I have to get pictures from my phone and my wife's phone, and video from her phone and video from my phone. I'm gonna have to get it all on my editing machine and start editing all of it out. That way, I have these really good dynamic videos for you guys to watch. But anyway, this is my Wednesday vlog. Tomorrow I'll have a normal morning vlog, and then of course I'll keep doing these daily. And I apologize for not having one on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, even though my wife reminded me. I just got tired and other stuff was going on. And so anyway, we'll get back to the dailies, and I'll work on a story for this week for you guys. And a jackhole of the week, I've got a couple from San Francisco, so I'll probably be recording that sometime the next couple of days and posting it. So anyway, you guys have great rest of your day, great evening, and I will see you guys again on Thursday morning.